What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Rican Brothers Raidernation podcast. My name is Nazo, and I'm going to cut it a little bit short here today. And sorry, I haven't really been following up much just because I've been extremely busy in my personal life. But I still want to bring you the content here, as we always do here on the Rican Brothers Raidernation podcast channel. So let's get into it. I'm going to go over the Cincinnati Bengals defeat that we had, and then go into the pregame for the Cowboys here today, because today is Thanksgiving. If you celebrate, happy Thanksgiving. Just take the time to be with your friends, family, and just kind of, enjoy the moments that you do have in front of you. And, every day is a blessing. So with that being said, I just kind of want to get into it here with the matchup that we had against the Cincinnati Bengals, which, again, as I mentioned in the previous podcast, it was going to be on Derek Carr. It was going to be on Derek Carr whether or not he was going to be able to come through for us and lead us to victory. That did not happen. I'm losing patience with Derek Carr, and I've always been an advocate for him, but the history has repeated itself as far as his terrible tendencies with ball security and just terrible decision making. The consistency is not there as far as consistently being a inclined player as far as his play, because he kind of has weeks 1 through 8 repeatedly season after season that he does great, and then weeks 9 through the back 8 games, it falls off. I don't know what happens to him. I don't know if the moment's just too big for him or what the case may be, but it's unacceptable at this point. Let's just say that. And I don't want to totally just decimate and beat up on Derek Carr, but as far as what I can say from what I saw in the Cincinnati Bengals game, the defense allowed us to stay in the game for the whole game. The offense literally showed up in the fourth quarter, which that can't happen. And as many as, people want to say, we have no wide receivers, we have no playmakers, this and that, great leaders and great players find ways and opportunities to make the most of what they have, with having Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs as, the backfield. You have Darren Waller, who's a number 1, and they need to bestow it upon themselves to either get with the offensive coordinator or get on the offensive line and let him know what is needed in order for them to succeed. And that's just something that I never, ever have seen from Derek Carr. As much as he does have capabilities of being, an upper echelon quarterback, I do have to retract my statement of him being an elite quarterback, because I did think that, this year he kind of got over the hump and he was displaying attributes and just a mentality that would get us kind of past where we've been in, the previous seasons. But to be honest with you, the same things have shown up. The lack of ball security, the poor decision-making, not being able to make plays, whether it be with his legs or, getting with his receivers in game. Now, I'm not talking about having a great practice. I'm talking about getting with his linemen in games, getting with his receivers in games, and just making the adjustments, because as much as you do want to put it on the coaches as far as, poor game planning and, the play calling, why are you checking out of pass plays into run plays when they're critical downs and we literally could just run with the play and see what happens rather than just get stonewalled as we do? Because I don't know if you all have seen this, but Derek Carr, he will check out of a pass play because defenses will, fake blitzes and fake that they are going to rush the passer. Then they'll fall back as a decoy, and they'll be in position to make plays. And if you're checking out of a pass play and you're getting into a run play and you have a blitz that you're faking, and then all of a sudden all your players are in position to stop that run play, you're not going to go anywhere quick because we don't have anyone who could burn the defense in the backfield. Kenyon Drake does have those capabilities as far as winding around the outsides on both, the left and right sides of the line. Josh Jacobs does not have that. He's kind of a downhill bruiser back. And it just is sad with the lack of leadership that Derek Carr has on this offense, because as much as, I have given him props in the past when he does good, he needs to be held equally accountable for when he doesn't deliver and he has poor decision-making, along with poor accountability for the players who surround him, because simply just going back to the bench and just throwing a grumpy face on and then just looking at the tape. Why are you not speaking to your players? Why are you not getting with your receivers on the sideline? Why are you not asking the offensive lineman what could be better to, instill better pass coverage or maybe open up some run lanes for them? Why are you not working as a cohesive unit, since it is a team game and you are the leader of this team? Why are you not taking it upon yourself to lead your men? Because at the end of the day, you're responsible for everyone on the offense, because you get paid the most, you touch the ball the most, and you lead this team down the field. So it just really pisses me off, just that, all these content creators who keep backing Derek Carr and making excuses for him and all this shit. It's got to stop, man. I don't care if you want to say you use logic or common sense. You're not using logic or common sense, because anybody who's ever been in a leadership position, and maybe it's just because I've been in the military, I've seen kind of, the cream of the crop leaders. And I'm not taking that away from there not being any great leadership in other areas, but, great leaders make the people around them better. And they look for ways to improve not only themselves, but those around them. I don't see that from Derek Carr. So don't sit here and just try to say, oh, you're bashing Carr, you don't know what you're talking about. Get the fuck out of here with that, okay? Because I'm sorry, but you guys can keep blowing smoke all you want. You obviously haven't been a fan the whole time that Derek Carr has been here, okay? 70 fumbles and 80 interceptions over the course of his career here. That to me does not say that you have a great quarterback. You have an at best average quarterback. So now that I've pretty much outlaid, exactly how I feel about the performance, let's go into actually what happened here in the game with this box score. I mean, it was, I don't know, man, it was just bad. We had 13 first downs. We had 18 rushes for 72 yards. Carr had 215 yards off 27 total attempts, with completing 19 of those. And he had one touchdown and, again, another interception, which we kind of knew the Carr meltdown would happen. And he was sacked twice for a total of 9 yards. And guess what? We lost another fumble. Would you look at that? So we had a total of 2 turnovers. And yes, on the fumble that he did lose, Colton Miller got beat on the left side, but Derek Carr literally lost the ball going down to the ground. And it's just pathetic, man, when you look at the continuous things that Derek Carr does, and it's a pattern. I don't care what you say, it is a pattern. And it is a pattern of bad habits that are not being corrected, that are not being focused on. I don't care if you throw 400 yards in a game, because if you come back and you lose to a team that you should beat and you should have command against their defense, and you come out and you play like this, the defense kept us in the game the whole game. And the fact that they're like, oh, well, they gave up 32 points. Yeah, well, did you see that 2 of those touchdown or 2 of those scores that had happened were literally almost in the red zone of the Raiders, where Derek Carr turned over the ball? So, Derek Carr makes it harder for the defense to do their job when he puts them in just disadvantageous positions. And it's just like, I don't understand how you can't blame or put a good amount of blame on somebody who literally puts you in the position to fail. Now, I'm not saying that the defense was lights out, but they did plenty to create the opportunities for the offense to come down and score on multiple occasions. Point in case, Yannick Ngakoue, sack fumble. Dallin Levitt picks it up. Granted, he could have scored if he did not bring it back over the middle, but we're on the opponent's 9-yard line. We run 3 plays for 1 yard and end up with a field goal. That has to fall on the leader of that offense, who is the quarterback. There's no excuses you could tell me that are going to negate the fact that Derek Carr is just terrible in those situations, and you have to score. Field goals are not going to be enough. If you're inside the 10-yard line and you cannot score, you really need to reevaluate not only your strategy, but your decision-making down in that area. Now, granted, defenses are better in that area, but you are a professional football player. You are an NFL quarterback getting paid $25 million a year. If you cannot score in those instances, you do not need to be in that position. Case closed. There was another time, got down into the red zone. Lo and behold, another field goal. You can't have that happening. I don't care if the play that comes in is something that isn't the best play. Guess what? You're an 8-year veteran and you want to call all these audibles. Call into something that's advantageous to your offense that you guys can capitalize on and score. It's got to stop. The excuses have to stop. The whole thing with blaming the defense is bullshit. And I'll tell you why, okay? And this is the exact reason why. Right now, our defensive stats are ranking, we're 14th. We're the 14th defense. Last I checked, Derek Carr, if he had an average defense, he'd be great. He'd be winning games and he'd be doing all this stuff. Well, where is he at? We're at 5-5. And I can tell you at least 3 of those losses are heavily influenced by Derek Carr single-handedly, with turnovers, fumbles lost, interceptions, you name it, it's happened. It's put the defense in poor positions. It's killed the morale of the offense. And if you can't have confidence in your leader in this offense, listen, man, a time of change is coming. And I really feel bad for all you Raider fans that think that just because we're going to change, we're going to nosedive. I understand the history that's happened. I've been a fan since the early 90s, ever since I could understand football. And it's just one of those things where you cannot be afraid of change. If you are afraid of change, this world must be extremely ugly for you, because you are going to be content with being very mediocre, if not probably below average. And I really hope that you get the help that you need, because that's literally how your lifestyle is going to continue on. There have been many franchises that have gotten better after being average and then getting over the hump. I know the whole facade of Mark Davis, he is reaching out to get help with the front office and making better decisions. But with the way that it stands right now, I do think that this team is on an upward trajectory, especially with the players we have, and really pinning down those players that we have that are going to impact this franchise for the positive and cutting the dead weight, and the players that were just pretty much Gruden's guys who he kept on the squad just because he liked them or he saw something in them that no one else did. Because I was in a Twitter space that Phil Jones hosted, so shouts out to him. I like Phil Jones. I think he's a good cat. I'm pretty just upset that people be like talking shit and saying that he doesn't have credible sources and whatnot. And I think it just comes out to be just because he's not big on Derek Carr, because I think he's just like the rest of us who have just seen enough at this point. But I was in a Twitter space where, they were mentioning that Mark Davis is seeking outside help because he does want to do better, and he does want to, get this thing turned around as far as being in a new stadium and him being with the Las Vegas Aces and them having success. You have the Las Vegas Knights who came in and they've been successful. Mark Davis is not going to stand for a subpar or mediocre organization. And I think finding that help and getting out those guys who initially he thought were going to help do that, I think it's a smart move. And I understand that people aren't comfortable with change. People are opposed to it because they think we're going to nosedive and we're going to go back to the old Raider ways. But the good thing is Vegas and Nevada itself, they do attract players, and their contracts are more favorable to the player just because of the tax status and just being in a facility like that. Oakland was a terrible facility. Nobody wanted to train there. It was way behind in the times, and it was just trash. Like, if you're a professional athlete, you want top-notch facilities, you want state-of-the-art facilities, you want somewhere where people are going to come, view you, and it be a whole experience, not only for you as the player, but for the fans. And I think that Las Vegas really does that and encompasses that whole field. So right now, I mean, the state of Las Vegas Raiders is Derek Carr is going to be on his way out, and we're going to come in with a new regime. Now, who that happens to be as far as the head coach, and if GM Mike Mayock is going to stay there, I kind of wanted to give him just one more year just to see what he does, just because of the fact of, the things that he has spoken about in the past as far as players. Favorability wise, I'd say 65 to 70% of the times he was actually pretty accurate with a lot of the player evaluations, but there were the 35% that really stuck out where you just kind of scratch your head and be like, what is it that you see or you think you see that's smarter and more intuitive than any other scout who's out there that you're, really getting a leg up on other people? Because I will say there have been draft picks that we've had that we've done excellent with in the late rounds. And I think Mike Mayock should get credit for that just because of his contacts. But with the way that this team is trending right now, the Bengals loss was just the epitome of what the Raiders have been the last two seasons as far as leadership collapsing. And that even goes up to the head coaches, because I'm not sure what Rich Bisaccia thinks about the NFL, but you have to win games. It's a must-win game every game right now. And the thing is that press conference really did piss me off, because he's like, a winner isn't about winning. I'm just like, I'm not sure what world you're living in, but if you're not winning and you're not progressing towards winning and getting better each year, then you kind of need to reevaluate where you're at, especially with you being the interim head coach and what you're saying to these young guys who want to win, who are hungry to win, because I do see that within the organization. They do want to win. They do want to bring greatness back to the Raider Shield. And, for all the fans who have been going through this tough time with the way that, the Raiders organization has done by the fans who pour, thousands and thousands of dollars, who travel, who are loyal. I just want to say this: it's Raider Nation. It's not Carr Nation. So don't live and die by one player just because he's been a bright spot at times, because it almost fools you into thinking that, things are going to get better, and then boom, they'll fall right back into the bad habits. I don't think Derek Carr is a bad person. I just don't think he has that killer instinct and that grind to get over the hump and to really instill a fire in the players around him. He is a mediocre leader at the best, and he has accomplished some great things as far as Raider history is concerned, and I don't knock him for that. I just think that at this point in time, he's shown us enough over 8 years. I don't care about the coordinators. I don't care about the coaches. Winners find a way to win, no matter the circumstances, no matter what they're put into and the conditions. They rally the people around them and they find a way to win. They play to people's strengths and they keep moving forward. So I'm just done with the excuses, and the display of the offense this past game was atrocious. And the thing that's crazy to me right now is I'm looking at this right here via ESPN. Our offense is still ranked in the top 10 because of everything that we did within the first, 5 wins of the season. And we were 5-2 at one point, and we've lost 3 straight. And when I tell you this, I know the winning, everyone's high, everyone's praising people. But the thing is, even myself, I was skeptical about the wins because of it not being sustainable and there still being glaring weaknesses. The one thing I will say with the Raiders offense is the offensive line has progressively got better every game, and they need the quarterback to really step up and display some amazing leadership, because the happy feet that Derek Carr has, the poor decision making, the lack of patience throwing underneath when he has a guy wide open downfield, or when somebody has a step or two on their guy. If you're talking about, oh, well, I'm just going to throw up the ball and these guys, whether they want to be on ESPN, that's up to them. They go up and make a play. Show us. Don't talk about it, be about it. Because at this point, your stock is falling, and it's fallen fast. And I was a big advocate on Derek Carr. I thought that this was a year where he was displaying some growth, and he had overcome some of those things that were holding him back from moving forward in the past. But at this point, my confidence isn't really high with him, especially leading this offense. And I know that there's been tons of stuff going on. I know it. Adversity is always going to come in your life, whether it comes in these extreme conditions or not. How you respond shows us everything we need to know about the person you are. And I'm a man of faith, and I'm a man of spirituality as well. I think you need to pray a little bit more, and I think you need to get a little bit better with the Lord, because right now, you're falling apart a little bit, Derek Carr. You are. And I'm not going to sit here and just continue to bash him, because I am just upset. And, I've spoken my piece, but the leadership starts and it ends with you. And that's rallying players around. That's instilling the confidence in your offensive line. And that's instilling the confidence in your wide receivers. Seeing maybe if there's any adjustments that could be made so they can get open on some stuff that maybe you weren't comfortable throwing it to. And that's why you did throw underneath, because Peyton Manning did this best. He got in people's ass when they weren't doing the things that he wanted them to do, because out there, you're the field general. You command, okay? You don't just let the players play. That's not what winners do. You make things happen on the field. And I'm sorry, but I am a passionate person. You can use logic all you want, but I have a lot of logic, and I've been in a lot of leadership roles, and I've played ball, and I've been around people who have, produced. And there's a couple people who I do know who play at a high level. Some that are, played a high caliber, game in college, some that have gone on to the pros. And listen, I'm not saying I'm any more credentialed than anybody else, but I know what it looks like. So I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. So I don't care if you're coaching high school or whatever the case may be, Pee Wee, whatever it doesn't matter. Pop Warner, it doesn't really matter. When you get to that upper level, you really see the leadership does dictate on men being able to evolve, coming through situations, rising up through adversity, and being resilient. And it's really the leaders on the team who you look to. And I think defensively right now, we're doing a damn good job. I liked seeing Cleveland Ferrell out there against the Bengals, and he was actually doing some stuff. And, I can't really be upset. As far as the defense, they kept this offense in the game for a long time. But look at the time of possession for the offense against the Bengals. 22 minutes and 40 seconds for the Raiders, 37 minutes and 20 seconds for the Bengals. So sorry, 22-40 for the Raiders, 37-20 for the Bengals. And the Bengals had 23 first downs versus our 13. 13 first downs isn't going to do it. The turnovers are not going to do it. And it's really aggravating. That's the best word I could say, is it's aggravating right now, because we want to have faith. We want to put hope into the Raiders franchise. and the people who we have here, there is no reason why there should be no targets to Deshaun Jackson. There's just no reason for it. We had one rush with Deshaun Jackson. He wasn't really targeting his wide receivers. And the comment that Derek Carr said, oh, well, Darren Waller was targeted, right? Oh, okay, I just want to check that off. Don't be petty. Don't be a bitter leader, because at the end of the day, you're not doing your job as a leader. You're not doing what these men need you to do and step up. You're just not. And, moving forward, a lot has to happen. There's literally no attempts to Brian Edwards, and I'm not really sure what the hell's going on with that, because that's just ridiculous. Overall, the Bengals game, man, we should have won that game. We should have won that game. Our defense was getting tired because they were out there so damn often. They were put in poor situations where it was already on, the Raiders 30, 20-yard line, whatever the case may be, from the turnovers. And we just stunk. There's not really any other way to put it. And there's a lot that needs to happen with this Raiders team. It really does. And that starts with the offense. It really does, because the defense has been playing great. And you can only get out there and be on the field for so long, be put in poor situations so long, and until you start breaking a little bit. And that's one thing that Derek Carr can control. What happens on the offensive side of the ball? Stop with all the audibles, the we're good. You're not good, because you're audibling into shit plays. You're not seeing the field well. And your patience is really lacking, and it's really showing with this offense. So I'm sorry I didn't really dive into it with the offense. I just wanted to kind of give you guys some numbers, but it's aggravating, man. It really is so aggravating that we have a great defense in comparison to last year. We're ranked, what did I say? Let's see here. Defensively, so ESPN has us at, let's see, 16th. So we're 14th or 15th, 14th, 16th, right in that range. We're basically middle of the pack defense. And I remember that, there was a lot of talk and a lot of chatter about give Derek Carr middle of the pack defense and he'll shine. Well, guess what? He ain't shining. These are the facts. Yes, we do give up some rushing yards. Right now, it looks like for rushing yards per game, we're giving up approximately 132 per game. Can it be better? Absolutely. It can absolutely be better. And the thing is the passing yards per game, though, we're only giving up 220 average per game. Now, the Buccaneers are giving up more, but they're also a lot better in the rush. They're giving up 78. The Broncos, who are in our division, they're giving up less rushing by a good 22 yards average per game, and they're barely giving up less passing per game. When you look at the Chargers are giving up 209 passing yards per game, but their rushing they're giving up 145. So they give up even more. And then you look at Kansas City, they're giving up more passing, but again, they're stopping the rush better than us by about 21 yards per game. So it does come down to the rushing defense as far as where we can step up and improve, because I'm not going to say it's all good, as far as on both sides of the ball, but the defense has showed significant inclination as far as their level of play, and they have helped the offense be put in a lot better situations. And we just need Derek Carr to step up, man. If you really want to stay on this team and you really want to prove to us that this last 8 years wasn't a mediocre experience, commitment to mediocrity, then, let's go ahead and step up. I want to see you do good. I really do, because I was pulling for you the whole time that you've been a Raider, because he does have some Brett Favre-like, skills to him. And at moments he does flash, and he can put the ball down the field in a fast amount of time. But the biggest thing that I see with Derek Carr is the consistency, that elevated play in pressure situations, and the ability for having elite field vision. He does not have elite field vision. And, at the end of the day, the Bengals game was something that was, I don't want to say it was low hanging fruit, but it was a very winnable game. And we stunk. The offense stunk. It absolutely stunk. So that's kind of my take on everything. And, I want to move on to this Dallas Cowboys game today here on Thanksgiving. And, as far as the Dallas Cowboys game, as far as the Raiders are concerned, we're not going to have Kwiatkowski. We're not going to have Keyshawn Nixon. And with the Cowboys, I know that they won't have Amari Cooper. They won't have CeeDee Lamb. They're actually going to be without their offensive line coach just due to COVID protocols. So the assistant line coach, Jeff Blasco, is going to handle Coach Joe Philbin's role for the offensive line. And I know that they are getting back one of their big offensive linemen, the Cowboys are. And let me just pull up this real quick here, just for the injury report. Let's see. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb is going to be out with the concussion. Zeke Elliott does have a bone bruise in his knee, so I'm not sure how well he'll be able to kind of move around on that, because that is a big part of the Cowboys offense is, they do run and open up their pass with Ezekiel Elliott. And listen, they're not going to have two of their top wide receivers. So if we cannot capitalize and come to 6-5 and still keep our playoff hopes alive, there's going to be a lot to go over in the offseason on just talent evaluation and just things that we need to really reconsider as far as, taking this thing moving forward. So let's see here. Let me just pull it up real quick. Let's see. Okay. So the injury report thing that I didn't notice though is with John Simpson. John Simpson is questionable, so we may have Jordan Simmons going at that left guard position, which it's not something I want to see, but the defense of the Cowboys, Tyron Smith is the tackle who's coming back this week, and that's going to only help out with the run game and protection for Dak Prescott. As far as their two top receivers, like I said, CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper are not going to be in, and they're still without DeMarcus Lawrence on the end for their defense. So let me see something real quick here. I just want to see the odds. Raiders versus Cowboys. Point spread. There we go. I know that the Cowboys are favored by 7, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, with this,
the Lions. I haven't got them right the entire year, so you're probably.
Here we go. Let's see here. So the point spread is 7.5. The Cowboys are favored, and it looks like the points over and under are 51.5. So this is the thing, is it comes down to Derek Carr. At the end of the day, it comes down to Derek Carr. There's a guy, Trayvon Diggs, who's on the other side of, the Cowboys defense, who is leading in pick sixes and is a defensive player of the year candidate. And I do not want to see a pick six from Derek Carr today. It all starts and ends with Derek Carr and establishing the run game against this Cowboys defense. And not only that, spreading the ball around, because I don't care if Darren Waller has all the catches in the world, because as you see last game, what happened? Yeah, Darren Waller was getting his catches, but I don't know how to say his last name, but as the guy Tristan Kuhn, he's on Twitter. He's actually really good. He really brings up a lot of great points, and he was talking about how Foster Moreau is the link that's really been holding back the success of this offense with getting him involved. And what I'd like to see as far as Derek Carr today against this Cowboys defense, that hey, the Cowboys defense can be very vulnerable at times, and I think it's going to be a back and forth game. I'll give you my predictions in just a moment, but we need to involve Foster Moreau and Darren Waller more, because Darren Waller is the premier tight end, but Foster Moreau is a lot better than any team gives him credit for. He can get open and he can make catches. So I think it's really going to, bestow upon that key element and then establishing the run game. But before I deep dive and kind of go into it, let me go ahead and let you know. So I do think the Raiders are going to lose this game. This is the first time that I've advised that they're going to lose this game. I think it's just because my trust and confidence in Derek Carr is fading quick. And I hope for our sake with the fans and Raider Nation that I am wrong today. I think the Raiders are going to lose 28-23. And I think they are going to take the point spread of over 51.5. And it is going to be, actually, no, that's actually 51. Yeah. So they're going to be right underneath the point spread, and they're going to be at 51, and it's going to be 28-23 Cowboys win. I don't know. After what I saw against the Bengals, I don't see against a better offense that we do better against, because it just doesn't make sense schematically and just statistically. I mean, if I was to look right now with the offense, the Cowboys have the number one offense in the NFL. As far as, the yards per game, they have the number one offense. They put up 418 yards per game. So if by some miracle that we hold their passing game to less than 284 yards that they're averaging a game, I think we can win. Now, my prediction is us losing 28-23. I'm really hoping that we do win, because I never want the Raiders to lose. I just always go in with my feeling, and depending upon how the game ends, that's kind of where it either goes south and I just get really pissed off and just start going off, or I'm just really happy and I'm celebrating. But I think that we do lose 28-23, and I think we go to 5-6, and it just kind of puts the nail in the coffin for Derek Carr and not keeping him around next year and losing our playoff hopes. I really would like to see us win. And if we do win, I would say that the score would end up being 31-26 or 31-27. That's if we do win. Again, my prediction, 28-23. And I think we cover the spread if we do end up winning. So at this point, what I will say is the offense of the Raiders, we average 373 yards per game, and our rushing is abysmal at 83.7 yards per game. In order for us to win this game, we do have to establish the run. I think that with Kenyon Drake, he needs to be the one to run the ball more, and we need to use Josh Jacobs on those short down situations. I'm not saying on third down and short. I'm saying short yardage situations. So if we have first down, we get 9 yards, boom. Let Josh Jacobs run it, get that first down, keep it moving. We need to rely more on the pass, on, some of those pivotal situations where, it's 2nd and 7 or, obviously 2nd and 10. I don't think we should run early and often. I think we need to run when it's appropriate for the situation. And I think we just need to use it as a catalyst to continue moving the ball down the field. I understand that Rich Bisaccia is all about this theory of, we need to pound the ball, we need to establish the run. That's great. utilize your run to help move the ball down the field, but rely on your passing, because the passing is where we're going to do better at. We're going to move the ball down the field. Use your running opportunistically. And what we did in Denver when we got that win, that's exactly what we did. We need to focus on screen passes and play action. And those are the keys for us to win, because with this offense, especially, and Derek Carr, I think the line is going to hold up because they have been playing better. But we need to keep the defense guessing. We are very predictable, and that's the thing that really kind of stunts Derek Carr's momentum in games, is he's very predictable with his play calling in certain situations, and using the run opportunistically and passing and using screens is going to really help us catapult into moving the ball down the field. And, you know, I know Greg Olson's not the best play caller. I know he's not, but we've seen success. And I think we need to revert back to that, because whatever's going on right now is not working. So in order for the Raiders to really do what they need to do, I think the rotation continues, where Kenyon Drake has more rushing attempts than Josh Jacobs. I think Josh Jacobs should be used more in the screen game, because I think he's a great screen runner and he has good field vision. And we need to keep this offensive line kind of moving, because they are mobile and they do have good athletic ability. And really use Kenyon Drake with a lot of play action, so we can open things up for players, like I said, Foster Moreau, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, and, you know, take the deep pass with Deshaun Jackson. And statistically, I think Deshaun Jackson has really done great against the Cowboys. So I'm really wanting some deep threat, you know, plays to where, you know, things are going to happen for the Raiders as long as they kind of sink, you know, just buckle down and keep things moving in a positive direction and take what the defense gives them. And I think the big thing in this one is Derek Carr needs to be aware of the first down markers at all times, not throwing underneath the first down marker and having his player make a play. I think all the passes and just plays that are called need to be beyond the first down marker. That's kind of a key and just a minute detail that will really help us flourish against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, as far as their defense is concerned, the Dallas Cowboys defense is actually ranked 2 spots lower than us, and they give up 355 yards per game, 252 just about in the passing game, and then 103 in the rushing game. So with that being said, exploit their weakness and pass heavy. Use the run advantageously and opportunistically so we can keep drives going and just catch them off guard, because once you start having success with the run, boom, you hit them with play action and keep moving the ball down the field. Now, my projections for this one is I think Kenyon Drake has a touchdown. I believe Deshaun Jackson gets his first touchdown this game, or his big play completion, and I think he gets a touchdown. And then I think that Darren Waller will get a touchdown as well in this game. So I got Kenyon Drake, Waller, and Deshaun Jackson getting touchdowns in this game. Flipping it over to the defensive side, the biggest thing that we need to do is create pressure on Dak Prescott. I know that he is a mobile quarterback, so you do need to play that outside contain, especially with Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue going upfield. It's really something that discipline on the outside contain is really going to either make or break us as far as this game is concerned, especially on, you know, the plays where Dak Prescott is going to be rolling out, and, you know, the run defense has to be stout. Jonathan Hankins has to be in there. Quentin Jefferson, they have to do their jobs, and we have to get a healthy rotation with Damian Square and Solomon Thomas in there. Now, I do believe in this one that Dak Prescott gives up an interception to our secondary, and I'm either looking to, I want to say either Nate Hobbs or Trayvon Merrick to get an interception in this one. I believe that we will get a sack from both Yannick and Max today. And, if we can get a fumble recovery, that would be even better. But I will say at least one interception and 2 sacks in this game from the defense. And I'll go ahead and predict 3 tackles for loss. Whether who they're going to be, I think we're going to get at least 1 from the linebacking core. And I think 2 will be split up between the defensive ends and the defensive tackles. I don't know exactly who it will be, but I think we got 1 linebacker tackle for loss, and then the 2 will be split up between the defensive ends and the defensive tackles. And the key is to really hone in on that run game, because with Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb being out, you take out a huge equation in that pass attack of the Dallas Cowboys. And, like I mentioned, I mean, with their offense being number 1 in yards per game and them taking 284 yards passing per game, that's something that will be able to be minimized, especially with those 2 key players out. And I know that they did get back, their tackle with Tyron Smith, and he's a huge guy, really great in the run game as far as his blocking ability and just his ability just to, protect and keep Dak Prescott upright. I really think that once we can hone in on minimizing this run attack, because Pollard is also another great running back that's going to be switching out with Zeke Elliott. Sorry. I just made a Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott hybrid. So Zeke Elliott, that's going to be really a big focus for us. And, with Casey Hayward playing as well as he is, and Brandon Faison really needs to step up. Brandon Faison and Abram need to make up for their poor outings the last 2 games, because they really have gotten exposed a little bit. And I think the discipline of that secondary really bestows upon Casey Hayward kind of keeping everyone honest. And Trayvon Mullen, we're not really sure when he's going to come back. So Faison needs to step up and continue to play at a high level, because the last couple of games he hasn't been doing his job. Trayvon Merrick, man, what a bright spot he's been for this defense. And what better way to showcase his skill set than getting an interception in front of his Texas family, since he did go to TCU. I really believe that him more than Nate Hobbs will get the interception, but I'd just say keep your eye on both of those guys to see who will get that interception. I think Nate Hobbs has a bounce back game, because Nate Hobbs didn't have the best of games. But with his trajectory and what he's been showing us, I think it's been a lot of great stuff from the rookies this year. And even Alex Leatherwood on the offensive side, moving him to guard, I think has been the best thing that we could have done. And God, I can't wait for Brandon Parker to get out of there and for us to draft the actual true right tackle, just to provide even, better protection on that right side. But that's kind of all I have for the Cowboys game. It's about 1:20 in Arizona right now. So I'm just kind of wrapping up here on the Rican Brothers Raidernation podcast. Don't be mad at me, Raidernation. I know a lot of the Derek Carr lovers out there. Keep loving him. Let's have him show us that he is what you put him up to be. And I know it's a team sport, but it starts with your leadership, and he leads the offense. So let's see what he can do. Let's see what kind of positions he can put the team in to take advantage of this game, especially with Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb being out, because the defense I know will show up today. And let's get this win. I did project them to lose, but let's get this win. Prove me wrong today and get this win. And like I said, if they do win, it's going to be 31-25, and they will, keep their playoff hopes alive. So just with that, again, my name is Nazo, host of the show here on the Rican Brothers Raidernation podcast. Thanks so much for joining me. And I just want to say I love y'all, Raidernation. Keep hope alive, and let's see if we can keep this thing going. All right.